Welcome, 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 welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic. Guess what, y'all? We are back. You know, this is Monday Beyond the Mic. This is the place where we go beyond surface level topics in relationships. This space allows us and provides us with an opportunity to delve into more personal or profound aspects of our lives. And we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to our faithfuls that were checking for us last Monday. But we gave ourselves a holiday break and you as well. But we absolutely appreciate y'all reaching out to us saying, hey, where's the link? Hey, where's the show? Hey, why you weren't on? That's what makes us keep coming back. So thank you to our faithful followers. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Brace yourself because you're in for a ride and you're in for a treat. As a disclaimer, we talk from our personal experiences in the hopes that it will help someone move forward in life, push past their pain, whatever that looks like to them. House rules, we know here: respect, respect, respect. That is our number one house rule. I would like to state that if that disrespect is displayed in the chat or on the platforms, individuals will be silenced or removed. And before I go on, we want to say hey to Ane, the best. What is Ane, our moderator, our
Yes.
host? She keeps the chat flowing. Hey, Ane, we got Lady Dawn B already in the house. Look, I think the people missed us, friend. Oh my gosh, we feel so special. Looky, looky.
Oh.
Do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes, I'd like to say good evening, everyone. And please, if you have not already, please like, share, subscribe. And we love those super chats. And if you give us a super chat, your comment will be read first. So please, and if you want to see us really smile, keep those super chats coming.
Okay, so listen here. Tonight's topic. Friend, just tell them where we're going tonight with tonight's topic. Tell them where we're going.
Well, tonight's topic, definitely hold on to your seats because we're going to talk about partners betrayal. Okay, so partner betrayal isn't just cheating because that's what people often think like, oh, he or she betrayed me and they were cheating. It can include emotional affairs, financial secrets, or even breaking significant promises. The common thread is a breach of trust. And if you don't have trust, you don't have anything. According to research in Psychology Today, betrayal is deeply damaging because trust is foundational to intimacy and emotional security. So, what do you think about that?
Oh my gosh, it is so much to get into that. We are going to unpack that, but tonight we got a little something different going on here. So we want our men to chime in, we want our women to chime in. At the end, not the end of the show, but in the midst of the show, we're going to have some homework. We're going to talk in the chats, and if you want, you can come up on this platform. So let's get into it, right? As my co-host said, partner betrayal. So tonight we're tackling a topic that's a little spicy, a little messy, mixed with a lot of emotions, partner betrayal. That's right, we're talking about those moments when love takes a detour down Betrayal Boulevard. Have you ever been down there? Because I've been on Betrayal Boulevard before, and it's not a nice place to be. Tell us in
Absolutely.
the chat if you ever been on Betrayal Boulevard. But whether it's secret betrayal, broken promises, or I thought I could trust you with you fill in the blank, moments of betrayal can leave you wondering, do I call it quits or give it another shot? So grab your tissue. If it makes you cry, if it takes you too far back, maybe some popcorn because we're going to be here for a minute. It's going to get a little interesting because we're about to dive into the drama of partner betrayal. So, co host, take it
Oh,
away.
okay. So, number one, why thrill seeking is a part of partner betrayal. So, thrill seeking plays a significant role in partner betrayal because it taps into the psychological and emotional desires for excitement, the novelty, and the risk. So, the question is, do you think thrill seeking betrayal is more about dissatisfaction with the relationship or unresolved personal issues?
Okay, so I'm going to start answering, give you some thoughts on this end. And if y'all want, put what you think it is in the chat. We would love to hear from you. Okay, I think the answer often lies mixed in both factors. One, unsolved personal issues. If we talk about that, for many people, thrill seeking betrayal stems from internal struggles. They might have a need for validation, low self esteem, or even a fear of emotional intimacy, which means the excitement of secrecy or risk can become a way to avoid addressing deeper personal insecurities. The second part of that, I would say, in just my opinion, dissatisfaction with the relationship, with relationships falling into routine and monotony. Individuals may feel emotionally disconnected or unstimulated. They might seek excitement outside the relationship to fill that gap. Now, here's the thing, it doesn't necessarily mean they don't have love for their partner. It's more about wanting to escape the predictability of daily life. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts in the chat? You want to add anything to that, Coles?
I think I agree in terms of, I think it's both. I think the saying hurt people hurt people. So when you have unresolved issues within yourself and you bring yourself into a relationship, if those issues go unchecked, then it could be a part of why a person would, betray someone. And then I also think that there's a part of dissatisfaction in the relationship, because if you were satisfied, you would not go out. But then I also think it could be accessibility. Sometimes because you have access to something, you want it, right? It's like, I know I shouldn't eat tiramisu, but if you put it in front of me,
Hey, it's good.
right. So
It's good
sometimes,
to me, it's not good for me.
and exactly that. So some people will go into that thrill seeking part, or it's accessibility, because I have access, because I don't, and for some cases people don't really have to work that hard, so it's
We're
there.
going to get into that. So that's a good point. That's a good point. And let's see. And we have Ashley on. You know, Ashley's the professional. Ashley can drop some jewels and gems in the chat.
So Stephanie says, I think it could be both. Yes.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Ronnie says people also harbor jealousy when it comes to betrayal. That's true.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't even think on that. So going back to what we were just talking about, let's expound on it a little more. So another thing can be. Oh, hold on, because we have the professionals speaking.
Ashley said, I agree with Stephanie.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We have, we have professionals in the chat. Ashley has been on the show. At the end of the show, her information will be up if you need some help, along with Dr. Harley and some other professionals. Now, escaping monotony. Some individuals feel trapped, what we were talking about, in the predictability of daily life of their relationship. Betrayal may be seen as a way to break free from the monotony. So, my question is, why do you think some people seek excitement or freedom through betrayal rather than addressing the monotony directly with their partner?
I would say, I think at some point the person no longer feels, or may no longer feel seen, heard, or valued. So if that thing is not happening and there's a communication breakdown, would be a reason that a person would do it, not an excuse, but would be a reason for them doing this. Um, I think some people are in relationships or have been out of comfort, so it's not a matter of it's just to say we connected, not we're together, not connected. I guess that's a better way to say it,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
I don't want, some people don't like to be alone. So I want you
Yeah.
here, but I want you here, but I don't want you here.
I want you here when I want you here, but I don't really want you
Or
here.
I don't want you with anybody else. So I don't
Well,
really want you like that, but
girl,
I
you
don't want
jumping all the way into the other show. But go ahead.
but I don't want
On for
you
next Monday.
with anyone else. And that could be it as well. And then I go back to what I say is access. Um, if the only way that betrayal can happen, there has to be another person or persons that's going to engage you in this activity, because you can't betray somebody by yourself. But also, let's go back, it's not just in a relationship, it's about finances, right? So that those secret finances someone could be keeping is because I don't really trust you that you're gonna have it, so I'm gonna put my money to the side. And not that there's anything wrong with it, as long as there's communication. So what does that look like? We have our account, to a joint account, then there's my money, there's your money, and we know about it. Versus thinking you're putting all your money in and I'm putting all mine, and then it's like one. Remember that old? It was like a cartoon. One for me, one, two for you,
Two for you.
two for me, one, two, three. So I think
Hmm.
that that has to become a part of how do you establish. I'm a firm believer. How you start is how you're gonna end.
That's good. And I think some other reasons can be fear of confrontation, right? For some people, discussing feelings or monotony or dissatisfaction can be a little risky, right? They fear their partner might take it personal, leading to conflict or rejection. If you're not a good communicator, to your point, and you don't know how to resolve conflict healthy, I think that can be another contributing factor to the betrayal. Lack of emotional awareness. Some individuals, and which is sad, because if you lack emotional awareness, I don't even think you need to be in a relationship, but that's just my opinion. But some individuals may not recognize that they're feeling stuck or bored. They only sense a need for excitement or change, but don't have the emotional tools to attribute those feelings to their partner, which is kind of like I said, you shouldn't be in a relationship. So the lack of self-awareness can lead them to act impulsive, seeking thrills. But they're talking to us, so let's see what's going down in here.
Stephanie says, I think there may be a lack of emotion of the one doing the betraying. Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think the word, if I had to say, when I hear the word trapped, how can you be, if it's not an abusive relationship, how do you feel trapped? And you say, I'm trapped in this relationship, but I want to go and I use the word betray my partner. Whether that is because it is trust. When you break trust, trust is the only thing that you give somebody first and then you take it back.
And give it freely.
Right, you give it first because you tell me, you live in a house on the hills. I'm gonna believe you. You tell me whatever because I don't know, right? And then once the person gets to know you, they're like, "Wait a minute, you lied about this, you lied about that. I didn't know this, I didn't know." So trust is when you meet people, you start. At least you should be establishing that trust factor with them. And then if you feel betrayed, you're like, "Well, wait a minute. What do you mean? I met you. You told me you didn't have children. What do you mean you got grandkids? How does that work?" You, you have
To
to
make it
be
make sense. Yeah.
right. Make
Okay,
it make
Stephanie.
sense.
Stephanie's helping you out.
She said, at Elaine, maybe manipulation is a better word. And it's true because you can use the word trap when actually you are manipulating people because you can play the victim. We can all play victim if we want to,
Absolutely.
right? And we can manipulate the scenario to be like, I would lead, but you
Right.
know, um, or you understand. And then, male or female, the person could feel the need. I'm going to say for men could feel the need for a woman to rescue, right? And for a woman, she could feel the need to nurture, even though this is a betrayal relationship, because she
Hmm.
thinks through the manipulation, or he thinks through the manipulation, they're protecting the person, and the other person doesn't value them, not realizing the person has been lying the whole time.
That's crazy. Yep. But into your word, when you were saying trap, how can someone trap you? Like you said, if it's not an abusive relationship, the door opens the same way when you came in, you get to go out. And so I think when you love someone or and you're in that relationship, you can feel trapped because it's not that easy to walk away. I think
Mhm.
when you feel as though like I need to get out of this, but you're not emotionally strong enough to say, "Hey, I'm done with this relationship." And I
Well, I
think
think
that's where people come to.
I'm sorry. I think a part of it is, they say it's, and I'm gonna use this word, the devil you don't know, right?
Right.
So I can I stick my pinky toe in the water, and then I can come back because I know this, opposed to
Hmm.
being willing to take the risk to say, this is not working and I want out. But people will go into that betrayal, whether financial, relationship, whatever, because I still want my security blanket just in case.
Just in case, just like Jaheim said, I don't make it home tonight. That's betrayal, right? He said, just in case I don't make it home tonight.
So, Lady Zombie says, often we trapped ourselves in a particular space because we fear starting over. So we stay with the familiar thing. Absolutely. Because how
Hmm.
many times have we stayed longer than we should have? You knew something was over months, years. You felt it coming, but you stayed much longer. That's like people who get divorced. They
Listen,
will,
you felt it and saw
I'm sorry.
it.
Well, yes.
You felt
So
it and saw it coming.
people who get divorced, they may get divorced at year 20, but technically they have been in that place
Hmm.
at least 5 years before they actually finalize the paper.
Absolutely.
So Trudy says, if we share a house account and the house is not lacking anything, it really betrayal if one of us or both of us have an account that the other isn't privy to? Well, if there's some secrets, I mean, because you have to say, okay, if you come into a jam, so let's just use that, and the person thinks this is all we have, and you got the secret stash over here. So now the other person is worried, and you're like, I'm gonna be fine. Now, I think it's just communicating. It's not a matter of how much you have in your account. And I don't think you have to sit there and be like, my account has X amount of Y, and Z. But if you both have a joint account and you agree to whatever it is inside your relationship, then I don't think it would be betrayal if you communicate. I think when you hide things from the other person, because the person could say, well, what else are you hiding?
It
And I know
opens
a
the
lot of
door.
us, our mamas told
It
us,
makes
make
you
sure you have your own.
skeptical now.
I'm sorry.
It makes you skeptical to your point with saying what else you hiding. Like where did you pull out 5 grand from when we had a joint account and we're supposed to be building together, but you have this whole thing on your side. But to your point, if it's communication, yes. And that's hey, look who's here. Hey Corey.
Hey, Corey. He says, when you're emotionally tied, it's hard to just leave. Then you have the soul tie issue, and that's a whole nother issue, where you
Yeah.
where you don't want to see what's right in front of you. It is so true.
Yeah,
Because soul ties are real.
absolutely.
Stephanie says,
I think they're knots. They should change the tie to a knot. But go ahead. Soul knots.
Stephanie says, I was always told that when or if I ever get married, to always keep a separate account that my husband shouldn't know about. And to Stephanie's point, I was going to say that a lot of us were raised in households where it was like, you always keep something to the side because you never know. Um, Again, I think that's something that you have to. I listen. I can't tell you what to do. All I'm saying is, I think if you want to start, you should want to start how you want to finish it. So if I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, because then you can't turn around and get mad at him if he goes on a trip you didn't. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't know. He'd be like, hey, you got money, I didn't know. So I think you can start that tit for tat thing if it's ever
Mm-hmm.
discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're good at
Absolutely.
hiding it, okay, who am I to tell you anything different? But 9 times out of 10, something's going. It'll be that day that extra statement comes across or something. They're like, "What's this?" And now you trying to backtrack. Um,
Because then it also opens the door to what we said. What else are you hiding? If you can hide this, and we're supposed to be building together, and we're married, and we made this covenant to build together, whatever that looks like. now I'm skeptical. What else you not telling me about? And it can very well be that be the only thing, but in the back of my mind, now I don't trust you. The trust has been broken. When you're telling me this is what we're doing together, this is all I have, and then you come out with an entire secret stash. But yeah, Lady Dawn B is talking to you.
Right. One second. I just want to go back to that. I think if you see going back to this point where Lady Don B said, "You talking right, Dr. E." I saw divorce coming on day three and stay 2 years. So if you have a scenario like this, then you keep your secret stash because you know you leave
Right, because you saw
the
2 days
first
in.
day and
Right,
day three. But
that's
if
your
you
getaway money.
right. But if in the beginning you don't see that and you don't see again we're going to separate or that's not what it is, then that's different to me. That's let me secure my future because the two is not going to be one, right? But if we're
Mm-hmm.
going to start out and we are having real conversation, then we need to lay it on the table because I need to understand because maybe he's better than me with finances and he could take my little and make it much, or vice versa. So I think when we do that, then a person does, again, go, what else are you hiding?
Okay, look who's here. Hey, brother Von Eric.
Hey.
Blessings, sir. Blessings. And I'm quite sure after the clip you might be on up here because it's gonna be a little juicy. We got homework. It's just coming in, but we got homework.
So Ronnie says secrets should not be a part of a marriage. I definitely agree.
I agree.
Only it should be
Ronnie
only a
said.
part of a divorce. You keep your secrets. Okay. Ronnie says that marriage is damaged before it even starts if there
Mm-hmm.
is a secret account. And that's what I'm saying. If I'm gonna stand up at an altar with someone and I'm saying to death do us part and I take these vows seriously, then I'm saying we share everything. We can communicate. Now how we divvy it up may look different from different relationships or whatever works best for you, but you shouldn't start because you started a lie.
And it made me think about something I heard Steve Harvey say years ago when he got married. They have an account together and they have their separate accounts. She gets to do what she wants to do, and he gets to do what he wants to do, but it's not a secret. They know that
Mhm.
they have those accounts. It's not a secret. So
Corey said there shouldn't be any secrets in marriage, but it is. Women are raised with the hidden stash notion. Let the relationship drown, the resurface on top by yourselves. I mean, I agree with that to a point because I think a lot of us, have heard, keep your own money, girl.
hmm
Aaron says a private stash is a flagrant evidence of lack of trust. It
in the
begs
beginning.
the question. Oh, I'm sorry. It begs the question of what else is private. Yeah,
hmm
because once trust is broken in any area, it is very hard because now everything is questionable. Everything
hmm
is questionable. You're like, wait a minute. You told me and I go back. You've heard me say this on the show before. I was told, "Oh, sure, I go with you shopping. Not a problem." And then later on, I was like, "Well, you ready to go?" Like, no, I hated shopping. I never liked it. Now I'm like, well, wait a minute. What else did you tell? Didn't tell?
hmm
Just something as simple as that. But you've also heard me say, I can't then say I'm getting divorced because he don't want to go shopping with me.
Right.
So Trudy says it's only hiding if you sit there and let your spouse suffer through a financial detrimental hardship.
I mean, everybody has their own definitions, and again, people have their own marriages and what works for them. So we're not making a blanket statement. We're just talking from experience and how it turns out for some people. So let's move on.
Okay, so the question is, do you think modern relationships are more susceptible to feelings of monotony due to the constraint stimulation we're exposed to in our daily life?
I think yes, because it goes back to something you were saying earlier. We have access to so much, right? In today's society, what always comes up on the show, no matter what topic we're talking about, social media, right?
Hmm.
So we're constantly being bombarded with stimulation from social media, streaming services 24 hours a day, which creates a heightened expectation, right, of consistency. The role of instant gratification. We want stuff right now. And where do we get that from? Social media. I hear some people they can't sleep. What they do, they scrolling TikTok. You know, I was on TikTok all night. I went to sleep 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, now you're nuts. But again, the access, right? The instant gratification is right there. The comparison in cultures. Social media also plays a big role in fueling monotony. We're constantly comparing our relationships. We talked about this before on the show to what's curated, picture perfect lives of others online, which we know it's not real. We always say that. What we say, how many times, how long did it take you to get that perfect shot?
Hmm.
And I shared the story about the TikTok documentary that was on, and they were so beautiful and they were so this, but he was abusing her and deleted her. So
Hmm.
it's not always that easy, right? And I think social downtime can cause us like, hey, I'm bored. I got this little time and let me just do this and look. And I don't even think he's on tonight. T said it before. That's some of his pastime when he just have free time. He on a dating app. It's just a pastime because he got downtime to his next shift or whatever it is that he may be doing. So they're still talking. So let's take a commercial break.
Corey said, no shopping with the woman for me. I'm sorry. Y'all go to a lot of stores and come out with one bag, but at least you're being honest. And I think that that's a part, and that's
That's
okay
the
if you
point.
come out with one bag, as long as we happy. How about that? So
That part.
I think that it has to be the honesty in it. If it's something you don't like doing, and I go back just using the shopping. If I'm with someone and I know they don't like shopping, but I know that they're saying, but I'm gonna go with you. To me, that's even you get like brownie points for that because I already know you don't like it. But if I think you enjoy it, I'm thinking we're doing something we enjoy, and then for you to tell me you don't, it's like what? Wait, and
Right.
it throws.
Blindsided.
And my thing is that's something simple, or it may seem simple, but apparently, I see I was traumatized, right? Because I always tell this story.
Yeah, yes, you were totally traumatized by it. Oh, shucks.
Avon said if at Lady Dawn B saw the divorce 3 days, she shouldn't have left. She should have left in day four. Stop playing. Don't use that for excuse to keep secrets and hide money. All right, he coming
Now,
for
hold
you,
now
Lady
for
Dawn.
he coming for you now. For those that don't
Wait.
know, go and back and forth with our brother Vaughn Eric. We have this fun banter that we do with our Lady Dawn B that comes on Thursday night on the Bravo with Sheila Network. So it's all in love and laughter. So this is look, here she go. Look.
She said at Eric Vaughn laughing. You thug commenting early, later, later, early tonight. Laugh out loud. Okay, you know how we roll, so let's go. So the chat's
Okay.
gonna be on fire.
The chat's gonna be on fire. So we're talking. So I want us to move in because I said we're gonna have some homework and it's gonna get a little interesting, right? So some things, the emotional impact of betrayal for the partner, feelings of shock, anger, sadness, and self-doubt are common. It can also lead to anxiety, depression, or even trauma responses. For the betrayer, while they may feel guilt or remorse, some struggle with defensiveness or denial, making reconciliation even harder. However, betrayal often shifts the balance of power and creates mistrust, what we've been talking about, making every interaction feel strained. So, we're about to watch this clip, and it should be familiar to everybody. So, if you don't have a pen and a pad, get your phone now, take some notes because we're about to do some homework real quick. Just bear with us. This scene is going to be familiar. However, I want you to look at the clip and think about have you ever experienced one of these betrayals that you are going to see? And if so, how did you feel and how did you handle it? Now, while we're watching, I am going to drop the link So for those who want to come up, can come up. We like for some men to come up and give their thoughts and their opinions. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it. Come on. No,
Right.
no, come on.
Calm
Talk to me.
down, eat your food, okay?
No, no.
No, let him talk. Let him talk, Sheila.
She's just a little drunk.
Yeah, you know what, Marcus? I may be a little drunk, but somebody at this table got some damn secrets.
Really?
That's enough.
No. Diane, somebody got some secrets. What are they?
You know, I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of it. The reason she can't go with this man or any other man is because she's sleeping with yours, Sheila.
What? No.
Yeah, Sheila.
Well, you all, thanks for dinner, but I should be going.
I think you need to stay, man. We're gonna need some law enforcement around here.
Is it true?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's my secret. I'm the bad guy. No, I'm not the only married person with a secret at this table. Terry, have you told your wife how you got a DNA test on your daughter because you weren't sure that she was yours?
Mike, don't go telling secrets,
Oh,
man.
no. Come on, Marcus. Y'all talking about me? You put my secret out there. Let's put everybody's secret on the table, shall we? Diane, have you told your husband that you got your tubes tied after you had Kenya? Didn't tell him? That's what Sheila told me. I'm sorry, Terry, but your chances of having a boy, a little slim to none.
Mike, wait a minute. This has gone too far. You are getting really dangerous now. You need to stop
Gavin,
this.
since you guys are walking around here like the perfect couple, will you please inform your wife how you came crying at my house, asking how could she be so stupid and not strap your son in his car seat? How about that?
You are a low-down, dirty bastard.
Shut up!
No, you shut up.
Marcus, please, please
hell.
tell this woman the truth. And I pray that it sets you free. I pray, brother. But I'm telling you, tell this woman how Terry had to give you a shot because you had VD. Let's talk about condoms now, shall we, Angela?
Oh, so you got VD?
Checkmate.
Who you been with?
Angela, let's discuss this in private.
No, you know what? It seems like you guys have been talking in private enough. How long have you had it?
A week.
Was it Keisha? Huh. No, you didn't get it from her. You got it from Walter.
What are you talking about? I ain't gay.
No, I slept with him. I got a shot. I was just waiting for you to say something. Boom.
Secrets, betrayal, secrets. But before we go on,
Bravo with Sheila gave us a super chat. Thank you. Woo! Said welcome back,
you.
ladies. Greetings from
Thank
Cali.
you.
Great topic tonight. Thank you.
so now I have
These
a
are
look.
old.
Terry, ooh. I have dropped the link. We want to hear from men. We want to hear from women. Have you ever been in any? Because there was a lot of betrayal, friends betraying friends with the husbands, It was just a lot going on. So who wants to chime in? Like, have you ever been in that predicament, that situation, or if you've been betrayed? What did that look like? Uh-oh, Stephanie cracking up at tea. So what do you think, Fred, about that clip?
Oh, I think so many things. Well, one, it was funny, but it also lets you know that people have their pillow talk, right? So for him to be able to say, we're going to look at that particular clip, information that he knew about some of the other people was through his wife. He's like, Sheila told me, right? But she told him that information in confidence. And then he felt like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be exposed, I'm telling on everybody. So you need to
The betrayal.
one, right? That's a betrayal from a husband to a wife, because when she said it to him, she told it to him not to say anything, but he used it against her or against the group in this particular case. And just yeah, that's a whole lot to unpack. You know, this is where Ashley and the
So
therapist need to come on. Lily said that scene has absolutely, Lily. That scene has so many layers to it, because there was betrayal, there was the fact that, the couple that thought Patty and her husband, they thought, they were supposed to be the great couple, but not knowing Gavin felt a certain way about the loss of his child that he never said to his wife,
so the
you know.
betrayal within the marriage for not
Right.
communicating his feelings. So yeah.
And I think the least of it, I mean, not that it wasn't important, was, Angela and Marcus, right? Talking about, oh, you slept with so and so. That's what we normally think of when we think of betrayal. Like, oh, you stepped out
Mm-hmm.
on me with someone else. But the dynamic of, if I told my spouse, something, my significant other, and then they went and said something, because we all know, I don't care, it's common practice that people will be like, girl, or, honey, let me tell you, so and so. And it's just like, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I trust you not to say anything. And that trust was broken, even though he had already broken the trust in that marriage by bringing the secretary who was really the side chick. Yeah, just a whole lot
It's
going
a mess. Because even within that, I would say, even in getting divorced, so say the husband or the wives, right, know the secrets, and you get divorced, I still don't think the secrets that were told within that marriage should be divulged. If that's something y'all shared, like keep
on.
it keep it to yourselves.
Did you not hear the earlier, hurt people? And that was hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
even in, yes, the things that you shared, it should be, even in a friendship, forget about if it, even in a
The
marriage, if
ships.
people were friends, whatever you said when we were friends, it should not be used against you, because we're not friends or we're not getting along. And to me, that's when we turn into petty labelle, right? When we then
Mm-hmm.
decide, I'm gonna tell, or oh, I bet you didn't know this. Why is that necessary? Because that has nothing, where we are now has nothing to do with where we were. I'm a firm believer, the spirit in which, even like, and I'm kind of going like gift giving, the spirit in which I gave it to you is the spirit in which I leave it. I never want anything back. And so I think all of that, that's a form of betrayal, because you said, oh, I love you, I don't love you no more, give it back.
Right. And I think it also goes, it speaks to a person's character and integrity. If you can sit there just because you're no longer in a covenant relationship with somebody and you can actually divulge what they told you in privacy, it speaks to a person's character and their integrity. But they are talking to us on commercial break.
Corey says, I'm sorry, but but hands would have been put on Shorty that gave homie the disease she caught from the next.
And then she said, boom, checkmate. Like, really?
Okay. Word for Life Christian Church says, when the Bible says, when a man and woman get married, the two shall become one. He's not he's not excluding our bank accounts. Okay.
Right. So he's referring back to the
The
earlier
earlier comment.
talking about
Uh,
bank accounts.
Lee says layers of betrayal and lack of communication in relationships. But here's the crazy thing about that. It wasn't is lack of communication in the right relationships, because people were talking. They were just talking
Right.
to the wrong people.
People, everybody was
They were
talking.
definitely talking, because he had information on everybody at the table. So there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
chatter, but the chatter were with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Terrence said, well, now that I think, well, now that I think about it, yes. I'm
Is
not
that
sure.
a yes? You've been in one of
Oh,
those situations. We know we need you to elaborate. We need you to come up here or drop it in the chat. What you're talking about, I have dropped the link. So yeah, what are you saying yes to?
and while we're here, please remember to like, click, and or like, subscribe, share. Thank you.
Mm,
Corey says, "Thank God, no, I never."
well, that's good.
Stephanie says, "I say keep information to yourself and take it to the grave." All right, I'm gonna have to
That's
tell
what they say.
Stephanie my secrets. No.
That
Von
part.
Eric said, "Everyone, please close and lock your windows."
So silly.
Lady Dawn B said, "Eric, your windows are already betrayed you, so it's too late to lock it. Hopefully, your door will be loyal." All right, and for those of you that missed it, Eric Vaughn, he shared some window experiences with us on some previous shows about somebody climbing through his window. So that's where that comes from.
And sitting there waiting for him, and when he got home and they didn't have a key, that's why they went through the window. So that's where that story comes from. So Vaughn is laughing.
So wait a minute. I
Elise
want
is
to say
laughing.
we got 99 people. It's free 99 and 15 people watching and only 3. Come on. We could do better than that. Give us some likes. That's it.
Right.
That's all you need to do.
Mash the
Ronnie
button.
says the table was filled with damaged souls,
Very
and that
good
goes
point.
back to hurt
Absolutely.
people. Hurt people.
Hurt people, hurt people.
Lee says lots of talking. Absolutely, lots of talking, but talking to the wrong people.
To the wrong, that part.
Yes, Terrence says yes. I've been betrayed by my ex.
We're gonna do a whole show with T because T have been on both sides, betraying. He has done, I don't want to say done it all, but he has some interesting stories that he has yet to tell that we're gonna get into.
Lady Dawn B said the sad part about betrayal is often people are just waiting for the opportunity to share what should have been confidential. So loyalty wasn't really present to begin with. Right? Because some people just want to know your stuff so they could be like, oh, I know that about you. But you know what? I mean, you have to be able to say it's your truth. You can live it. You can get in front of it if that is something that someone has done.
And then we're just gonna do this for the clip.
So
Yeah,
Ane says fair use for educational purposes only, section 107
right,
of the
right,
Copyright Act.
right. Because we do not have rights to that. So that was just something for us to be entertained and dive more into betrayal.
Bravo with Sheila says hit that button. Is free 99. Coleman Ministries from Yonkers. Hey, sis, says we are here. Great conversation. Thank you for being
Hey,
here.
thank you.
Beyond Ordinary Lifestyle says the wife knew her friend was sleeping with her husband. She had low self-esteem, so she turned a blind eye. And that could be. That could be.
Because we be knowing.
But she also could have just trusted, and well, yeah, it's so much in that. Stephanie said, I agree with Lady Dawn.
Yeah, so it was so much in that clip because even I can recall growing up back in the days, and it was a group of us that would hang out with each other. And one person in the group started seeing a guy. And then next thing you know, we turned around and the other girl was seeing the guy behind her back. And that was an eye opener for me, like not to trust women until you know that you can trust them. But it was to the point where it's like, how could she do that? Because it was our first time experiencing it. And this was, I mean, what, early 20s? And it's like we hanging out, and how you gonna give this dude the upper hand and say that he mess with you, and he meeting her over here, then turn around, she's sneaking around and meeting with that one, but come to find out this particular person, she was just doing it to everybody.
Well, I think that's again, in my opinion, I think that that has a lot. It wasn't about him, it was about the hers. It was about I can have what you have. It's competition. There's something lacking in the other person that wants, like, I know you're my friend, or at least I think we're friends, and you want whoever wants one of my friends to prove to yourself they want me too.
And it goes back to that envy, right? So envy is past jealousy. I want to be you.
Oh yeah, I always say envy and jealousy are cousins. They first cousins. They're not the same, but they are closely related because one wants what you have and the other one doesn't want you to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to understand the difference. But I also think it comes to trust. I mean, ultimately, we have to learn, if you could take him, then he was never yours, or vice versa. If you could take her, that person was never yours to begin with. I think we go through different phases as we grow up in life. And we've had those instances where either we could have betrayed someone, right? And not, whether it was financial, whether it was seeing someone else, whatever it was, and been on both sides of it, right? Because we can't go
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I've never. We've all had something where we're like, oh, yeah, I could kind of consider that a betrayal.
Not messing with my friends, dude.
No, not that. But I'm saying
Oh,
in
I
some
mean, I never had
no,
that one.
no. I mean, I could share a story where there was anyone who liked me, and then we were young, but anybody who liked me, she literally almost did the exact same thing that you just said. So I was like, wow. So then you just start acting like you like people to be like, okay, let me while you over here, I can really like this person, but I won't tell you that I like them.
But
Um,
Corey made a valid point.
yeah, she for them streets, for them
Yeah,
streets, not them,
them
the
street.
streets,
Because Corey, if you can enlighten us, or any male on here can drop us in the chat when he says she's for them streets. I'm thinking in terms of that's not someone a man would wife or take as wife material. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong.
Kathy said lots of friends with the same types of issues and no one bold enough to step out and set the standard for anyone to see beyond the circle. Yeah. And I mean, if you grow up in certain neighborhoods, a lot of times, friends are labeled. I mean, I was one not to hang out with a bunch of people, but you see those cliques. And so everyone's trying to be, and I'm going to use this term, like on top of the food chain, so to speak. So people could gather around you because they want access to what you have access to. So they don't really like you. They like what you have access to. And that could happen in a group of people because they know this person can gain access to places I can't. But when I get in, I want to show that I am just as desirable as that person. And then that's how it all starts. It's a sad reality, but it happens.
And I'm gonna bring Lee up, and we're gonna jump into this. Hey, Lee.
Hey.
Welcome back, lady. How are you?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm actually out. Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you. So what we're gonna do now? This is
Okay.
this is
Yeah, you could
hilarious.
use it. Mhm.
Okay. Um, it says beyond ordinary life. I don't know. Lee's gonna have to mute for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna mute. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Hold on. Where's the mute?
Okay, we're good. Beyond ordinary lifestyle says, so we're gonna gloss over the fact that Angela had no remorse about giving Marcus a disease. Now I don't think we're
She said,
glossing,
"Boom,
right?
boom." Oh, she did.
Well, the thing about in that relationship, you're saying the fact that they were going tit for tat. She already knew because when she said, "Who did you get it from, Keisha?" Right? He fessed up and said,
The
"Yes."
setup.
So, right. And then she was like, "No, you didn't. You got it from Walter." And he's like, I'm not gay. And she's like, no, I slept with Walter. So they even in this relationship, marriage, this committed relationship, they were already playing games. You did it to me, I'm gonna do it to you. And how many times do we play those games in relationships? Maybe not to that degree, hopefully not. But we play the games like, oh, you didn't tell me where you were last night, so guess what, I'm gonna go out with my friends and I'm not gonna tell you. And then now what happens is people beyond get further and further apart from one another, opposed to coming together to, instead of saying, you know what, honey, when you went out last night, I didn't like that, and this is how it made me feel. And we having that conversation. A lot of times what we do, male or female, we will guard up and we go into defense mode, because trust and having someone security and emotional, when a person gives you their trust, they're saying, I am allowing myself to be vulnerable to you, and I'm opening myself up to love you without conditions. And when you then turn around to a person and betray that, one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to come to you and communicate. That's a person with high emotional intelligence, or two can play that game. I can show you better than I can tell you. And then now we're going to grow apart opposed to coming together, because if you did this to me, what else did you do?
Then we're going to go real quick to Corey's responses, and then we're going to jump to Lee because he's commenting on what we were talking about earlier.
Um, all right. My sis says, I agree. Envy and jealousy are kin. And it is important to know that is why people feel a sense of empowerment to betray, because they are rooted in either envy, jealousy, or betrayal. So true.
Yeah. Okay,
Corey
so I did get it right.
Corey said, you got it right, not wifey material. Right. Because you got to look back and say, if this is the reputation, the one thing I remember my dad telling me as a little girl is reputation will follow you. So you do something at 13, you could be 33. The people in your neighborhood be like, who? You talking about the one who was behind the bleachers with the, and you like, she's 13. So reputation will follow you. And it would behoove you, if you don't grow up with someone giving you the standards, then there is no standards. If it's just hustle hard, do whatever you, when I say hustle hard, not from a work mentality, hustle hard in terms of get whatever you could get from whomever, or the highest bidder, then it looks different.
So Lee, what's your thoughts?
So for me, I think that the key in any relationship is communication. And when communication is breached, that's when deception comes in. And that's when people start to be deceitful. For me, the example I always reference is my parents, who have now recently both gone to heaven. They passed away 6 weeks apart. But my mom, I used to notice that my mom was the betrayer. I will say that. Like my dad he had an infidelity, but he never betrayed my mom. So he would never talk about whatever went on in the house or whatever happened. But as soon as my mother would get mad, it didn't matter where we were. She would start, just talking about stuff that probably should have stayed within their confines of their relationship. And right before my dad, well, right before my mom passed, I was in a bad car accident, and his car got totaled. But I didn't tell him. My mom, however, knew. And right before he passed away, like maybe a week before, because my parents had all their faculty, he was like, so when you gonna get the car back? And I'm like, huh? And then he realized that he slipped. And I was like, who told you? Who told you about the car? And I'm telling you, I thought it was my sister, my brother. I asked everybody. They were like, nah, we didn't say anything. Till his dying breath, he was loyal to her. Like he would not tell me, even though I was like, well, it could only be like a handful of people, and I'm checking off the list. So I just say that to say that, when you have that breach in confidence, people start to stray. I was in a relationship where I was the one that acted like my mother. And I lost a good guy for that, because one day he was like saying, we're going to have this conversation. And so we had it with a third party, but I gave too much information. And then after that, he was like, well, you didn't have to tell them all of that. And I was like, oh, you know, And I learned from that, and then it reverse flipped on me in a newer relationship where I did some snooping, and I found out there was some inappropriate emojis on some other women's pages, and I'm like, that's a little form of cheating. No, you may not have slept with nobody, but why you giving them heart emojis, but you're not on your girlfriend's page giving heart emojis? Like, and I think
So
people don't
back to the
realize
social
that.
media. So back to the
Yes,
whole
that's
social
that's
media.
what
Well,
you said. Right,
one,
exactly what you
we
said.
want to
Yep.
say our condolences on your mom and your dad passing, and praying your strength, because that's a lot. 6 weeks apart to lose both your parents. So yeah, and we're going to go to some oh, they talking. We behind. They talking to us.
I'm gonna ask Lee, can you just mute yourself?
I can't mute myself.
Um, Corey says, I had an instance where my homeboy didn't have a phone, but his girl would call my crib to speak to him. Then she started wanting to talk to me. I wanted to set her up and catch her out there.
Well,
Yeah, but
you
then
might
you
tell
don't
us how
know
that
how
turned
he
out.
would have taken that. Right.
Oh, what? Oh, he told the rest of the story. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got her to come over. He didn't want to go through with the plan, so she didn't show up. I got her in a compromise out of position right from the setup, and he didn't show up. I still told him after she left.
Okay, Corey. Oh, come on, Mr. Hunter. Give the stories. Give the tea. The
Yeah.
setup.
Stephanie says, on a friendship level, I feel the friendship should be valued equally, but of course, that isn't always the case. If a friend can't be trusted, then info should not be shared and friendships reevaluated. Absolutely. And sometimes you just have to realize that there's some people who just want to know, right? So that they can feel like I have all the secrets. And, you have to just be like, okay, if I said it, I said it.
Now, here's the kicker, this part to the story, but he got mad at me. How many times have you ever, I should say, jumped in to defend somebody on their behalf, looking out for them, and then they turn around and get mad at you? That has happened to me.
Well, it happens to
Usually,
every
yeah.
because your emotions are in it. You love that person and you don't want to believe. Think about it. I mean, you love the people you love and you don't want the worst of anyone, and nor somebody you have been vulnerable and given your heart. So they could tell you it's like being in a relationship and the person said, "Oh, you know what? We gonna get married," and you keep and it's like not this year, next year, not this year, and you like, "Wait, we 5 years in. When we gonna get married?" And everybody else could be telling you, girl, he ain't gonna marry you. And you're like, yes, he is. He just said he needs
Mm-hmm.
this. He just needs
And it's
that.
10 years. It's 10 years later.
You 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later, and you're still waiting for because the heart wants what the heart wants. And that's what we just have to realize. It is the problem between our emotional when our mind is saying something and when our heart is saying something. And I know Dr. Duncan is on here, so she's the psychologist in the
And
room.
she get
But
ready to drop some jewels,
yeah,
but it goes back to the breadcrumbing. So he just breadcrumbed you for 10 years. Just give. So we
right,
did a show called breadcrumbing, how people just leave little bits, men or women, just
right.
leave. It's like Hansel and Gretel.
Just
Just leave
enough
a
to
little
keep
enough,
you coming
enough
back
to
or to
keep
follow the
coming back.
trail. Enough for you to follow the
Mm-hmm.
trail. So I think a part of it is whether it's in um um a friendship, if it's in a relationship, your vulnerability because you want to believe in the best because it's your love and you have given that person your love and you want to
Mm-hmm.
believe it. You totally want to think about your kids. I mean, I know this is not about children, but your children can betray you. And you want to think the absolute best, like, nah, my kid wouldn't do that. You got to look at the
Mm-hmm.
Menendez brothers. I don't think their parents thought they would do that. However, these are the people you raised. So Dr. Duncan said, good book to read regarding this is Dance of Anger by Harriet Lerner.
I'm writing it down now. Got it. So yeah, betrayal can be very painful. It leads, like we talked about, to so many different things. And anybody else have anything else they want to say? Lee, do you have anything else you want to say No, yeah, okay.
So you just said it. Betrayal, right? Is as Ashay is a big thing. However, what's even bigger is when you work through the betrayal, you get to a place where you think you're on one page again, and we're gonna work this out. We're gonna trust. We're gonna do this, and then the person comes back and does the same thing again to you. And so then it makes you evaluate yourself. Like, what didn't you notice in that process? Because, okay, I know you betrayed me. I let you back in. But what did I not see when we had that conversation time about we're going to resolve this and not do this? Like, what part of I was invested and you weren't, didn't I see? Because people, I'm one for, everybody makes a mistake, so I'm big on that. One, shame on you, twice, shame on them. But then the third time, it's like, how many chances do you give? Betrayal's a big, big deal, and it could be something very minute that you don't notice. They could be betraying you along the way in increments, like breadcrumbing you betrayal, you know, giving you little signs of betrayal along the way, and then the bam, betrayal comes because you weren't picking up on the slight betrayals. Like, oh, we talked about that in private. Why are you telling them how I use coupons? They don't need to know I'm a coupon shopper. That ain't their business. They don't need to know my Gucci bag
Right,
is consignment.
right. And I
And
think also
and it leads up
another
to betrayal.
question. Yeah, and I think another question that people in those situations should ask themselves is, what is it in you? What's lacking in you that you feel as though that you need that person, or that you
Right,
deserve that type of behavior? I think it always
right,
goes back to us in self-awareness when we stay in places or in relationship where we're mistreated. We
right. So
must
it's like,
we must think about what's lacking in us that's keeping us there or keeping us intertwined, or whatever that looks like with that person. And knowing that this person is going to constantly hurt me, or the person's going to do it again. Because again, once you learn a person's character and their integrity, it's not too much you can, like, I know who you are. So I'm not going to keep making myself vulnerable and yielding to this behavior. Oh, hold
Doc,
on. The doctor
what?
is talking. Okay, hold on. I think Corey said good night, ladies. Oh, all right. Good night, Corey. Thank you.
Good night, Corey.
Oh,
But
hold on.
just as for
The,
before I read Dr. Duncan, I think it's also a point of manipulation because now we've discussed I've forgiven. So now you are consciously manipulating the process of my heart. So, okay, Dr.
yeah.
Duncan, she said betrayal results in a tolerance of being in the relationship. There is no longer a commitment to the relationship. Right. So you're just doing what you want to do because you think I'm going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that becomes a part of it. And I think it goes back to something we talked about earlier. A lot of times you have to know when you had enough, right? No, my grandma said this, said no one can tell you when you had enough. You'll just know. So you could talk to your friends until they're blue in the face about a friendship, about a romantic relationship. If they are not ready to let it go, you are wasting your time. The best you can do is be there and support them. But when that light switch goes on, it ain't nothing, like I call it the Tina
Mm-hmm.
Turner moment. There is nothing anyone can do because now you're ready. You
Lights
have to
out.
have acceptance in the relationship to say, this loving you is hurting me. So I need to get away from you. And what does that look like? So I think the partner betrayal, whether again, friendship or in a romantic state. Kathy says, until one learns their own value and worth, they will continue to fall into the trap of emotional confusion. Yes, because our emotions are real. We feel what we feel and we want what we want. And if someone comes into our lives at the right time that we're feeling a certain way, then we will gravitate towards that and we don't want to let it go because they filled a void. And when even though they fill in one void but manipulating you on another end, you want someone to fill the void. So that part of our hurt is what leans into the person, is what tolerates the things that we shouldn't tolerate because they're filling a void.
Mm-hmm. So tonight's topic, we have been talking about partner betrayal, and I mean it's been a little steamy. We talked about drama. We had a little drama going on. We showed a clip for informational, educational purposes. Lee got up here and was brave enough to tell some of her story, but she's not portraying anyone. I don't think she is. So she got up here. So we want to thank everyone that tuned in tonight. We want to thank you for being on. Hold on one second. Right? So we want to thank everyone for being on. Sir is watching. Oh my gosh, my amazing 5-year-old nephew is watching. Hello, Auntie's Pop Pop. He is watching. Thank you for tuning in all the way from LA. Thank you, sir. Wait to sir, please. That's my baby. Hey, sir. See, Auntie got some people for you. So, betrayal, partner betrayal. That's what we're talking about. That's what we talked about tonight. So we thank everyone for tuning in and chiming in and giving your perspective and sharing your stories, being vulnerable on this platform to share your stories and what you have experienced. So again, we thank you again. Feeling of shock and anger, right? Betrayal for partners. Feelings of shock, anger, sadness, and self doubt are common. It can also lead to anxiety, depression, or even trauma for the betrayer. While they may feel guilt or remorse, some struggle with defensiveness or denial, making reconciliation even harder. Remember, betrayal often shifts the balance of power and creates mistrust, making every interaction feeling strained. So they are talking to us. So before co-hosts go and before Lee says something, we're gonna go. Oh, Ashley, sir, your cousin Ashley is saying hi to you. You're so popular tonight.
Stephanie
You
says,
are
thank
more
you,
than welcome.
ladies. Great topic. Thank you. Beyond Ordinary says, great topic, great show. Thank you. Thank you. Lady Don B says, great convo as always. Thank you, Lady Don
And
B.
y'all can check out Lady Dawn B Thursday nights on the same channel. She's on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Yes, she is.
And Ashley said, I enjoyed you ladies. And shout out to Lee for being willing to share her personal experience. Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Lee, anything you want to say?
Just let me see. Can you hear me? Just that this is a great platform, and I love it. And you know, a lot of my takes on relationships came from what I grew up with. I grew up with parents that are the epitome of "to death do you part," in sickness and in health, for richer for poorer. But in the dynamics of their relationship, I learned that some of it was not healthy, and sometimes you take unhealthy traits and you transition them into your lifestyle. So as we grow older and more mature, I'm learning to navigate those things. And one of the greatest things is when you can even end a relationship or have a friendship that shifts, but resolve it and really resolve it with healing, where you two can respect each other and actually move past that and look to the forward and not behind, and not make the same errors over and over again. An emotional and a mature person moves ahead and doesn't exhibit the same behavior. And someone once told me a good relationship is not one that has you complacent. It's one that challenges you to be better and to improve. And part of that is the communication. Like I keep saying, communication is key. You cannot communicate with your partner. You leave yourself open to betrayal. Betrayal in a coffee shop, betrayal in social media, just betrayal. Because if you're not communicating with the person that's supposed to be your other half, you're communicating with someone.
And thank you for that. And again, to your point that you made, life is a journey. I always tell my daughter, life is one big learning journey. And yes, I think we all have fallen into pitfalls in relationships, but the key is when you learn from them. The definition of what doing the same thing over and over is what? Insanity, right? So it's all about learning. So, co host, final words.
I would definitely, I second everything that has been said tonight. And I think the most important thing that we learn is not to betray ourselves. When we're in the relationship, when we see the red flags or the ghosting or the zombieing or the breadcrumbing or any of those things that we've talked about in relationships, is be true to you, even if it hurts. And the truth hurts. sometimes. And you should be willing to say there's somebody out there that will love me, if it's in a romantic relationship or even in a friendship, that will truly be the person that I need in my life. So I'm not holding on to things that are no longer viable to me. And I just say this, sometimes we hang on to the lowest hanging fruit.
We're going to drop the mic right there. From HG, there is more in you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be here next Monday. Thank you all. And here's some help up for you.